Good evening. We are Michael, and today we are going to talk about systems of continuity. What does that mean? Systems of continuity means how everything in the solar system, in the universe, in your life, and everything is connected and influences each other. Think of it as quantum entanglement, but on a deeper scale. Your scientists have now figured out that when you change a quantum particle in the present, it changes the past. So nothing is really fixed per se. Everything is in a state of flux. So how do you use it to your advantage? So in order to understand that, you need to understand the system of continuity. Let's start with the smallest of particle, and then we are going to extrapolate it to the bigger universe. But the fundamental principles are going to be same. So understand that if you look at any subatomic particles, they are never really fixed. You can't pin it down. And this is something your scientists already know. You cannot find their location or assess their energy levels both at the same time. And there is a reason why this happens. As we stated, everything is in a state of quantum change, constant change. So if you think of subatomic particles, they can be anywhere in any moment. All they need is the correct amount of energy to be in the right place in the right way. It's always in a state of flux. It's always changing. So this allows the overall atom to be whatever it wants to be. So if you think of one atom and its subatomic particles, to keep things simple, and we are not going into much more depth into subatomic particles, we don't need to go that far to explain the principles of how this works. Think of every smallest change in the subatomic particle as it moving to a different location physically. With the right amount of energy, it keeps moving, not just around the central nucleus, but also in space with the nucleus. So if you think of a particle being here, if it has the correct energy variables, it can suddenly shift and come here through teleportation, because this is how teleportation works. When the energy shifts, particle will randomly appear somewhere else. Though it's not fully random, basically what you perceive as movement through time, the reality is not like that. Reality is always teleportation. This is how parallel reality works. So it's like appearing for a moment, disappearing and reappearing somewhere else in a moment, disappearing and reappearing in a moment and disappearing. And in this manner, things are in constant motion within the particles as well as movement through space. A particle can be anywhere in space. And they are also moving through dimensions which may not be perceived in fourth dimension, mainly because you see time linearly, movement linearly in space, but in reality, you are basically seeing different dimensions, but you are not able to perceive the dimensions because in fourth density, you'll not be able to see the actual changes or the movements. That is a restriction, limitation of fourth dimension. Hence, you think things are linear, but it's not. So, as particles assume different locations, different times, in this manner, they are also affecting other particles which are in that location by its presence or absence, because every time a particle shows up in a different dimension, it creates a change in whatever is around it in the vicinity by its presence, mere presence. So you are constantly moving through dimensions in this manner because your body is made up of atoms. If atoms can move in this manner, so are you. Now you might wonder, how do particles move in unison? Because you are not moving in parts. You are moving as a whole complete human through different parallel realities. How do these particles sync up? Which is what brings us to the system of continuity. So whenever there is a system like your body, there is, you could say, a scaffold of specific energy, which kind of holds the space, holds the scaffold intact, where other particles who wishes to be in the same vibration can stay together. They have something in common, and also the energy that they need is right at that moment. Hence, all those particles show up at the same time in the same place through system continuity, where each particle has chosen to stay with the other particle beside it, around it, for a specific period of time. But they are constantly glitching in and out of time. So through space, the movement that you see that is in constant for every celestial body, or even you being on Earth, are constantly moving with Earth. What is happening is particles are appearing and disappearing in your body. Whichever particle is okay to be within your body's energy scaffold appears, and the one that was not a match disappears. So it's like blinking light, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. And it happens at a very fast speed, like billions of times a second. So you do not see any difference, because before it disappeared and reappeared, there is barely any time lapse. So you see a continuous body or an object. You don't see what's going in and going out, constantly appearing and disappearing within it. It gives a system of continuity. So now, how does this tie to the universe? This is where soul contracts come into picture. If you think soul contracts only happen for humans and living beings, that is wrong. It also happens at a subatomic particle level, because those particles who choose to be together in a group also have soul contract to be present with the other particles at the same time. So there will be mutual multiple soul contracts for ushering that presence together, not random, because they have agreed to. So what is an agreement that allows the system to be continuous, at least in fourth dimension? Think of it in this way. As and when a particle moves through space, it activates certain quantum entanglement with other particles present around it. How does that happen at a molecular level? This is what we are explaining as soul contracts. Even though you might assume, how can a particle have a soul? Think of it as consciousness. That should suffice. Imagine, just imagine, we are going to use an analogy so that it's easier to understand. This is not how it actually happens, but we are giving an analogy, an example. Think of a slide. Everybody has enjoyed a ride in the slide in your childhood. So the slide is always present, and children or humans choose to slide whenever they wish to, whenever the park is open. So whenever the slide is there, any human who wants to go through that slide can simply come and ride. So soul contracts are like scaffolds already present energetically in the universe for everything to appear in a specific way, in a specific time. It's like an energetic scaffold all over the universe from the macro to the micro level. And these particles appear and disappear using those scaffolds based on the energy they are receiving from the previous scaffold to be able to move to the next one. And they move to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. They garner the energy in each scaffold, different kinds of energy, and the movement to which scaffold it will go is based on what kind of energy it gets, which creates a match to a matching scaffold energy, and that's when it appears there. And when there is energy mismatch, it vanishes and reappears somewhere where it is an energetic match. So each appearance allows it to experience who it is at a consciousness level that you may not understand. And then when it chooses to change, it has gathered whatever energy it needed from that environment to move on to the next thing. So this is happening continuously. And it is not completely random. It is synchronized with other particles, which is why, as we gave example of your body, all the molecules are together in one place at the same time, but they are disappearing, reappearing, but you don't see the difference. So you only see the outcome. You don't see it at a microscopic level. So in this manner, the scaffold of what was and what could be already exists. You are simply choosing to move between one to other to experience whatever you chose to experience in this lifetime. And the same goes for planets and other celestial objects that's moving through space, whatever their consciousness wishes to experience. So every system affects the other system, and they are interconnected. Even the scaffolds change energies, and they are across different dimensions, multiple layers of dimension. They are moving across dimensions based on what your vibration is. But you will not experience the dimensional changes like that because it's continuous for you. So this is the system of continuity where there is an agreement between everything that is present physically in the universe to be at the same time, at the same place, for a specific purpose. And just by existence in that space, even if it is for a moment, be it a big celestial body or a subatomic particle, it creates the changes around it, and it also absorbs the changes it needs to move on to the next stage. This is what is happening continuously everywhere all the time. This is how things appear in a pattern together synchronously. This is the law of constant change, and it changes based on these principles. Now, in the future, we are going to use this to build more on very specific topics. So this is like the fundamental study of the system of continuity, and we will use this as a reference in our future channelings so that understand this at a deeper level, and then we are going to use that knowledge in the upcoming sessions. So we hope you understood how this works, and if you have any questions, put it in the comments. We wish you a good day.